Well, good afternoon. Let's try that again. Good afternoon. All right. Everyone have coffee? Yeah, we'll wake everyone up here. Okay, well, welcome to the World's Challenge. And no, I did not stutter. There are 2 challenges. We have a lot of challenges. We have 17 of them, but that was my opening joke, and which didn't already go over that well. Couple administrative things. Food, a little bit of cookies, a little bit of coffee in the back. Phones, please take your mobile device and silence it if you haven't already. There's nothing worse than trying to save the world hearing an obnoxious ringtone while people are giving good pitches here. And fun. So the fun part of today, in addition to hearing from your colleagues, is that the audience, something we're doing a little bit new, the audience is going to actually get to decide one of the awards, so the audience's favorite. So as you listen today, it's not only our great judges who are going to be doing some deciding, but also the audience, and we'll explain a little bit about that later. So a few thank yous. So this event really would not happen but for a few great both offices and people who are making this happen here at the university. First, our friends at International Education, Caitlin, Jay, and Provost Dunnett in the back, who's hiding from us back there. Thank you for all that you have all done, reminding us every day that there is a great, beautiful world out there with lots of diversity and cultures that make the university all that it can be here and beyond. Not to be eclipsed, but another partner as well, our friends from the entrepreneurial sector who continue to show us that innovation, entrepreneurship, creativity, and purpose can all coexist together. Our friends at Blackstone Launchpad, and specifically Hadar and her leadership and her continued leadership over there, working with us in sustainability. So thank you to Blackstone and Hadar. And to our friends at Western University, north of the border in London, Ontario, who not only created this great initiative, but we are grateful for their forward-thinking leadership and their bold vision, and a little bit more on that as we go through. And certainly not least, but technically last, my colleague Derek Nichols, who's hiding as he usually does behind the structure over there. Derek has done a great job in making sure that this event is what it is. So thank you, Derek, for all of your work. We are also thankful to our judges who have volunteered their time. We're very lucky to have these 4 great people with us today. Their knowledge, expertise, it's really a perfect match for evaluating the student pitches that we have coming at you. So first is Darren Cotton. He's the Executive Director of the University Heights Tool Library, as well as the Director of Community Development and Planning at the University District Community Development Association. That is a lot of universities and communities in there. And when I think about local sustainable development, Darren's face is literally one of the first thing that kind of pops into my mind as he really kind of personifies this concept of a change agent, a quiet leader who has caused great positive change in his community. So thank you, Darren, for joining us. Dr. Corey Smith is a professor in the Department of Architecture at our UB School of Architecture and Planning, and his primary research investigates the roles that design the research investigates the roles that design plays among marginalized groups and alternative models of design education. Corey, I'm really excited to hear more about your work, and thank you very much for joining us. Dr. Trina Hamilton is a professor of geography here at the college, and Trina researches corporate, social, and environmental responsibility, global governance, networks, international trade, and diverse economies. Her interests also include new forms of politics, including corporate campaigns, and the overlapping of the marketplace and traditional spheres, and the impact of new government mechanisms on trade and economic development patterns. Trina is one of my favorite professors at the college, and her work is really pioneering this whole kind of idea of using the marketplace as a way to create social change. So thank you, Trina, for joining us. And last but definitely not least, Heather Hellman is the community garden manager at Grassroots Gardens here in Western New York. She received her BS in Environmental Studies in 2013 from SUNY ESF. We won't hold that against you. You know, you are at the University of Buffalo. I was just at ESF on Friday, and it's great to see the awesome work that they're doing over there. Just fantastic people. She spent years working on organic farms and learning about the different ways people engage with their local food system. Heather is passionate about connecting people to their environments and to one another through food and gardening, as well as breaking down barriers of urban food production. So here is, so thank you for joining us. And here's what we're going to spend our time over the next hour 25 minutes doing. So you're going to hear from 6 groups, each with their own idea of how to advance one or multiple of the Sustainable Development Goals, which you see up behind me. These teams of 3, not all of them need to speak during the presentation, will have up to 5 minutes to present or pitch their idea. So 5 minutes actually means 5 minutes. If you go over 5 minutes, we have a trap door that will open up over here, and the alligators will come out, grab you. We won't actually go to that length, but we will ask you to stop. We want it to be fair for everyone so that everyone plays by the same rules. Your presentation will then be followed by up to 4 minutes of questions collectively, including the question and the response. So we don't have tons of time, but from the judges themselves. And then we'll move on to the next group. We'll repeat that 6 times, and then we'll reconvene. We'll have the judges will be sequestered back here in top secret negotiations. We'll select our winners. We'll reconvene. The fan favorite at that time will be voted on. The fan favorite will receive $250. The third place team will receive $500. Second place, $1,000. And the first place finisher will receive $1,000. And then the first place finisher will then be taking all of us out to dinner at Big Ditch Brewing Company, right? No, they'll actually get to keep their money, and they get to move on to go to Windsor, to go to London, Ontario, near Windsor, to compete in the next round, which we're very excited for. They will also be representing not only the University of Buffalo, that winner, but the United States of America, and they'll be competing against 9 other Canadian universities, and then universities from Australia, China, Japan, the Netherlands, Switzerland, and New Zealand. But no pressure. You'll do just fine. And you will have a chance there to win an additional $7,500 Canadian, $15,000 Canadian, and $30,000 Canadian, respectively, for third, second, and first. So we're very excited to kick off our Sustainability Month here today with the World's Challenge. This event joins about 30 others during the next 30 days or 25 days, whatever we have left here, throughout April. And this one really stands out for us because it's helping us to really reinforce these ideas of the Sustainable Development Goals. These goals that have been embraced by 200 United Nations members and countries that have adopted this growing movement along with businesses and organizations. These goals are really helping us think about how we define what sustainability is. As you'll hear from our students, they touch on gender equality, climate change, poverty, health, wellness, inclusiveness, the environment, food security, and more. And closer to home here at UB, we're really trying to work to leverage the goals as a way to think about our own sustainability work here at our university and in our community. So as former UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon reminds us, these SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, are our shared vision of humanity and a social contract between the world's leaders and the people. They are essentially a to-do list for people, planet, and a blueprint for success. And finally, I'd like to just offer to all of us when we think about how big these challenges are out there, Nicholas Kristof, a writer in the Times, has reminded us that the world is registering very important progress, but it also faces threats which we're all aware that the goals work to help us think about. The first belief that we are making progress should empower us to act on the second, these global challenges. The most important thing happening right now is not a tweet, but children's lives saved major gains in health, education, climate, and human welfare. So with that, let's get started. And I'd like to introduce the first team, ask them to come up. We'll start the clock once you actually start. The Container Culture, who I was just talking with earlier, their first name was the Mighty Potato, which I thought they should keep the Mighty Potato. Great name. Ian Marrett, Maxwell Payne, and Kurt Harlock. Ian's from Industrial and Systems Engineering, Max is from Mechanical Engineering, and Kurt is from Business Administration. So come on up. Thank you.
Okay, so hi everybody. We are the Container Culture, and our project's primary goal is to establish zero hunger in the world. In doing so with this, we also plan to promote responsible consumption of water and production of food, and the way we plan about going about it is very green.
According to the global goals, hunger and malnutrition is the leading cause of death in the world. The United Nations Food and Agricultural Organization reported that as of 2017, 815 million people worldwide suffer from hunger and malnourishment, and almost all of them are located in rural areas of developing countries. People in these areas rely on individual or community farms for most of their food, which often aren't capable of supplying enough food for the year. These people often experience what is known as hungry seasons, which occurs when their food stores from the last harvest are running low and they don't have enough to last them until their next crop comes in.
So world hunger is obviously a very big issue, and we as Americans and we as individuals definitely help to contribute to it. Here in America, actually 40% of the food that we produce goes uneaten, according to the Natural Resource of Defense Council. Each of us up here is part of a throwaway culture, where if we don't like the way that some food looks, or if we think it might be too old, we simply just toss it away. The United States Food Aid Programs, USAID, purchases subsidized food within the U.S. and then distributes it to hunger-stricken countries. But this actually hurts the countries more than it helps because it weakens the local markets. The United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization has shown empirical evidence that once food aid is distributed, local food markets drop, thus keeping the people in poverty.
Our solution is to bring container farms to these poverty-stricken communities to supplement their existing farms. These farms will consist of recycled shipping containers outfitted with all the necessary equipment to grow vegetables using aeroponics and hydroponics, which, if you didn't know, are methods of growing plants without soil and have been proven to be more productive than conventional farming methods by using up to 95% less water and significantly increasing crop yields. We plan to bring these container farms to communities and individual farmers to help them grow calorie-dense and nutrient-rich food to eliminate hungry seasons, improve their daily diet overall, and improve the productivity of their farms.
These container farms will allow individuals and farmers and communities universal access to safe and nutritious food year-round. They will combat malnutrition by allowing farmers to grow complementary vegetables such as potatoes and legumes. These vegetables have a high percentage of recommended daily nutrients that we need. In regards to productivity, these farms can allow for 10 times as many potatoes to be grown and 9 times as many legumes such as peas to be grown compared to traditional farming techniques. And these farms have a controlled environment, therefore they are not susceptible to environmental risks such as pests or disease. These farms will also help combat climate issues such as erosion, deforestation, and irresponsible water usage that traditional farming perpetuates.
After doing a lot of research into hydroponics and aeroponics, we've roughly calculated the initial cost of the container, the equipment needed, and all the necessary growing materials to be about $9,000 and an annual operational cost of about $4,000, which includes electricity and water consumption, as well as the consumable growing supplies. As far as implementation, one key feature is how easy it will be to ship. Being made from a shipping container, obviously, it's pretty easy to ship to almost any location, and most of the equipment can be pre-installed in the container with the rest of the supplies packed inside. To start, we'll have to send an instructor to help the farmers with initial setup and teach them how these systems work. But through our support network, we believe farmers should be able to run these containers by themselves in about 4 to 6 months or 2 to 3 grow cycles.
So to help with the actual design and production of our container farms, we plan on partnering with some of these industry leaders. And to support our farmers financially, we'd like to partner with Opportunity International. They're a great organization that assists entrepreneurs in developing countries. They actually specialize in helping farmers in Africa. They provide farmers with loans, training, and access to better farming resources and food markets.
We will also partner with A Growing Culture, which is a nonprofit organization that provides farmers with a global platform in which they can share information about crop efficiency and added innovations.
Our next group, and you're gonna hear my inferiority with pronunciations here, so I apologize in advance. Elevate Her, or am I pronouncing it right? Yeah, Elevate Her. Ramla Qureshi in civil engineering. Jasmina Tachiva from operations management, and Manjusa Korakazil. Oh, I'm getting close, I know, excuse me, from computer science and engineering. Thank you guys very much. Cheers.
So according to the World Economic Forum, about 77% of all jobs worldwide by the year 2020 would require some component of STEM knowledge. Our question to you is, are you STEM ready for 2020? Ladies and gentlemen, we are Team Elevate Her, and we are actually jointly addressing 2 of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals in order to ensure that the future is A, sustainable, B, inclusive for everybody. So STEM jobs worldwide are amongst the top 10 highest paying jobs. But as per the Future of Jobs survey, a mere 11% of engineers worldwide are female. So if sustainable development requires cutting-edge scientific progress, then why have we left out half of our population? Underrepresentation of women simply perpetuates gender imbalance, which very quickly escalates into economic imbalance. For example, in STEM, women earn 28% less than men. So Project Elevate Her is our contribution to serve as an intervention to break this cycle. Global data suggests that participation of women fizzles out as they advance through different levels of education, and really falls down when they enter the workforce, to the point that only 16% of leadership roles are occupied by women. Even if a woman is, let's say, able to get a degree in STEM fields, she is very less likely to enter a job in STEM, much more likely to face bias and leave. So this void discourages more women from even applying for a job in STEM. For example, my home country, Pakistan, which ranks second lowest in the global gender gap, the Constitution in itself, sorry, I got distracted. The Constitution in itself poses a hurdle by assuming gender suitability and reserving job roles. So there was a study in 2018 which suggests that as compared to first world countries, developing countries are not that far behind when it comes to participation of women. But what these countries are doing is that they're not providing adequate job opportunities for women in STEM. On the other hand, Western countries perpetuate gender imbalance by not being able to enroll and retain enough female students in STEM.
So 3 of us here, we are all proud to be STEM females in STEM. But we are sad to say that we are an exception and not a norm. So we decided to do something about it. And nudge theory says that every little thing counts. A small change can go a long way. So from our pilot study conducted in association with Women Engineers Pakistan, we conducted the study on 60 female graduate students, and we identified 2 potential packages that could help bridge the gap between women and working women and these industries. So what we plan to do is basically offer an online portal that will basically bridge the gap between women who want to enter the industrial sector. And our solution is sustainable in the sense that all we ask our candidates to do is perpetuate their knowledge to 3 other candidates. And the way we are going to monitor it is with the help of an online portal, which is going to be completely free of charge to the candidates. We're going to be doing this with our academic and our industrial partners we have started talking to industries and universities in Southeast Asia and here in the United States, because what other better place to start than home?
The implementation of our proposed solution involves year-round cycles that have about 3 main phases. So phase 1 in the first year will include the development of the web portal as well as recruitment of first-round candidates. Then our second phase will actually be the course itself. And the concluding phase will be when we match up successful graduates with job opportunities and ask them to identify 3 successive new applicants each. We implement this cycle every year in which we use the solution. And in every year, we start with a base of 90 first-round candidates. And since each of them is asked to bring in 3 additional candidates for the program, at the end of year 3, we hope to have 900 successful graduates of the program. I know that this number is big, but our financial model is quite flexible for that. We only have 1 fixed cost, and we hope to cover the rest with microfinancing and grants. And in the words of the brilliant mathematician Mariam Mirzakhani, it's not just about the problem, but also about the way we solve it. So thank you for your attention.
So team 3 is Team Sunny Clean Water with Yohai Liu. Yohai, what is your department or area? Electrical engineering, and Matthew Singer, same is electrical engineering as well. Welcome.
Hi everyone. So today we want to talk about one of the world's most pressing issues and a device we helped develop to solve that issue. So we all know about the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. Today we're going to discuss goal number 6, clean water and sanitation. However, clean water and sanitation is arguably one of the most important goals on this list because it affects all the other areas we see here. Clean water means less money spent on healthcare costs, less school days missed by children, and less gender inequality for women and children usually tasked at obtaining water in these developing regions. So just a quick little background. In today's world, 1 in 9 people do not have access to clean drinking water. Of those who do have access to it, it's usually surface water and other contaminated sources that, again, lead to these higher healthcare costs, missed work opportunities, and the growing inequality we see in our world today. Now, of those affected, most are located in coastal regions, developing regions, and disaster relief areas, like those affected by hurricanes. So what have Western countries done to perpetuate this problem? Well, we have not properly invested in critical water infrastructure to help purify and transport that water. In fact, the American Society of Civil Engineers gave the United States a D on their infrastructure report card for drinking water. Now, in addition, Flint, Michigan is still without clean water for their residents after years of suffering, and those affected by the hurricanes in Puerto Rico went weeks to months without clean drinking water. Now, on a personal level, people need to be more conscious of where their water comes from. Did you know that 23% of the plastic water bottles on your desk there will not be recycled? So I hope you recycle those.
Thank you for calling us.
In addition, Americans are some of the highest users of water in the world today. We use on average 90 gallons of water every day. At that rate, the natural aquifers will not be able to replenish themselves, and the Western countries will become water-starved as well. So how do we plan on fixing this? Well, right here at UB, we have developed a solar distillation device to help get people clean water. Now, this device has been featured by different scientific and local news outlets and has been peer-reviewed and published in a few journals so far. So as you can see here, we have our solar device that is floating on the lake outside. And with that, we just let the sun shine and let it do its work. From there, we can completely remove all of the salt, bacteria, viruses, heavy metals, and disinfection products from it, leaving you with clean drinking water. In fact, our product works so well, we compared it to the military-grade solar stills that they use, and we can outperform them by 3 times. So that means for the same size, we get 3 times as much clean water. So how do we plan on getting this to people in need? Well, we participated in a startup accelerator program last year. And in that program, we identified key manufacturing partners and key material suppliers here in the United States and China. From there, we can make our base solar still units. And finally, we have identified the key NGO and governmental organizations we need to help facilitate the transfer of our product into the hands of people who need it most. In fact, we are currently working with 3 NGOs, one in the Philippines, one in Belize, and one in South Africa, and their associated government organizations to help facilitate that transfer. So how do we implement this? Well, we have recently applied for an SBIR Phase 1 grant from the NSF, and we actually just got word a month ago that we received that grant. So this grant will help us pursue our goals a little bit more aggressively. With that money, we have developed our second-generation prototype that you can see below here. And this prototype can provide enough clean water for an entire family every single day. Now, currently, we are working with the university and our NGO partner in the Philippines called the Ada Tribe Foundation to help facilitate the transfer of our prototype out to their village. Now, from there, we can implement that scaled prototype and get the data we need to make whatever adjustments are possible to help these people get clean water. From there, we can secure our manufacturing and continue to help people around the world. So financials and budget, this is a very gory slide, but this is all backed by research from the Startup Accelerator program that we participated in. We're glad to say that this SBIR grant has helped us pursue our goals a little bit more aggressively, but we still wanted to set realistic milestones so we can make significant, steady progress. And we're glad to say we've been on that track so far. So I think I'm running out of time, so I want to thank you all for hearing about our technology, our company, and thank you.
Okay, Team 4 is the Flow Project, and that is Isabel Hall from Environmental Engineering, Kelly Mosier from Urban and Regional Planning, and Danielle Vasquez from Business Administration and Public Health.
Hello, everyone. Menstrual health maintenance is not widespread in low-resource communities, but as sanitary products become increasingly available, it is necessary for communities to prepare for potential hazards caused by increasing waste streams. The Flow Project seeks to address the global issues of solid waste management in low-resource communities through an innovative approach to adolescent education. The strength of the SDGs is that the 17 goals work together and are interrelated. There are inherent linkages that we can identify between things such as sustainable cities, life on land, and infrastructure. The connectedness also presents challenges for how we actively engage in achieving the goals in a global setting, whereby our actions must be targeted to maintain focus. Finding a niche between the 2 goals of gender equality and sanitation is the focus of the Flow Project.
To mitigate menstrual health maintenance in developing countries, we must increase sanitary pad access, educate adolescents on menstruation, and create waste management solutions. For example, in India, 3 in 10 girls do not go to school during their period due to lack of facilities and materials. Researchers, NGOs, and humanitarian work is focused on increasing sanitary pad products. However, menstrual waste management is left out of that conversation. In India alone, 1 billion pads are disposed of each month. This equates to 113,000 tons of menstrual waste each month in India alone. 23% of that waste is ending up in open areas, such as rivers and wells, left to contaminate water sources. 17% is burned in the open, and 25% is buried. Increased sanitary pad access and rapid population growth equates to a larger sanitary pad product footprint. Our solution is the Flow Project. We aim to increase menstrual waste management education, empower boys and girls to be a part of the change, and equip communities with the tools necessary to drive innovative waste management solutions. The Flow Project employs community ambassadors to deliver comprehensive workshops, which seek to educate adolescents on waste management and the classification of menstrual waste, appropriate and safe disposal methods, and waste management recommendations, which seek to promote well-being in communities. These workshops will be taught to both boys and girls as a 2-week unit in conjunction with health science education at community schools. We believe both boys and girls must understand their role in effective waste management solutions. The Flow Project develops an engaging curriculum that uses science education as a tool for children to understand how waste systems function and how menstrual waste identification is crucial to community well-being and prosperity. For example, children will understand the advantages and disadvantages of certain waste disposal methods, such as incineration, waste segregation, and composting, using a scientific experimental approach. Our goal is for children, the future leaders of the communities, to properly identify and manage menstrual waste and become empowered to develop sustainable solutions.
So before we implement our curriculum, we must first go over our target market and how we identify our ambassadors. The first most important one is identifying the countries that we're going to be developing our curriculum in. And those are countries that score below the developing countries' GDI, which is Gender Development Index provided by the UN. These are our potential partners through community work that I was involved in Ghana, Africa, and also Isabel's connection with Ann Wadsworth, the Executive Director of the Girls Education Collaborative. We feel like these are potential partners that we will work with. These are also key partners that we plan on throughout our implementation phase to also partner with different collaborative groups around Buffalo and the world. So for our implementation process, it's a 5-year time span, starting with finalizing our curriculum within the first year and developing waste management evaluation metrics. We will then go into launching our pilot program during year 2. Going into year 3, we will evaluate the effectiveness of our pilot programs with our 2 potential partners. And then finally, deploy our curriculum to other global partners with the Gender Development Index. And then during our 5th year, we want to evaluate our program's effectiveness by going over the different metrics that we established in year 1. So how much is this going to cost? We created a budget analysis through our 5-year implementation phase, and we came to a total cost of $69,200. This includes the curriculum certification phase provided by the Department of Education of New York, materials and supplies that we would offer the girls, nonprofit affiliation, which could be a potential in year 3, training and compensation, travel costs, and advertising and promotion. And we will open it up for questions. Thank you.
Okay, Team 5 is also the name of Hadar's favorite team, Bug Boxes. And we have Samantha Berry from Aerospace Engineering and Eric Davis from Chemical and Biological Engineering. And also on the team who's not here is Jasmine. Oh, you are. Excuse me. I'm sorry. You were not here earlier.
No,
and
I was.
You were. So I have one of them mixed up. All right. And Jasmine Ingram from Environmental Engineering. Great. Thank you.
So the challenge that we have chosen to take on is zero hunger. With 815 million people hungry worldwide, success in this challenge would obviously benefit a large portion of the world's population. And as the population increases, this problem will only get worse, so it needs to be addressed now. Our bug boxes will be used for small-scale, localized farming to be part of the solution. So infertile soil and poor climates can result in food shortages, and poverty can only make things worse by making food inaccessible even when there is food available. As an example, in Ethiopia, droughts are destroying crops, which lead to food shortages. In developing areas, 13.5% of people are undernourished, with 45% of child deaths being caused by malnourishment in 2011. Our bug boxes will provide a stable and accessible food source without the environmental impacts of traditional food sources such as cattle farming. Natural disasters such as droughts and floods can disrupt local food chains. These disasters can devastate crop harvest as well as kill livestock and are only made worse by climate change. Our lifestyles rely heavily on fossil fuels, which emit harmful greenhouse gases, which can contribute to climate change. Also, many manufactured products that we purchase are cheap because they are made by workers who are not being paid a living wage. These workers can then not afford to buy food for their family. Those with resources tend to purchase more food than is necessary, which leads to food waste rather than the food going to those in need. Along with all of these reasons, not many people have made an honest effort to ensure that food reaches everyone as necessary.
Our solution to the challenge of zero hunger is insect farming. Insects are an excellent source of protein and require significantly less land and water per unit of mass than traditional livestock. Additionally, they are more durable and can grow in almost any climate. We propose giving miniature insect farms to families in developing countries so they can grow their own insects as a source of supplemental nutrition. These are models of what we call bug boxes, small-scale farms specifically for the growing of cockroaches, which we have found to be the ideal insect for this. Cockroaches are especially efficient because they can be grown vertically. The bugs will live on the slits of the box. To harvest, simply lift up a slit and scrape the bugs off. Cockroaches can be fed almost any organic matter, including food scraps, leaves, grass, which they will then convert into edible material. They can be safely and sanitarily prepared by cooking, frying, boiling, and there's a long-standing history in Africa, Asia, and South America of eating insects. In the case of Ethiopia, we specifically chose the German cockroach because they are already commonly found in the region. When implementing this solution in other areas of the globe, we will choose a different species of cockroach native to the area to prevent invasive species. This solution requires cooperation from many parties. We plan to partner with local governments, Engineers Without Borders, and the Peace Corps in order to bring insect farming to families in need. Local governments will help us identify areas most in need of this service, and Engineers Without Borders and the Peace Corps will aid in the distribution and assembly of bug boxes. Implementing the solution starts by securing funding. This would be from donors and our partnering organizations. We can then begin preparing manufacturing facilities overseas, which produce the pieces of bug boxes. These pieces are shipped to designated locations where they are assembled by volunteers and distributed to families who need them. The cost of this project will vary from country to country based on shipping prices and the availability of materials. Bug boxes are relatively inexpensive to produce as they only require wood. We estimate the cost to be about $20 per box plus shipping, and as we said, this project will be mostly funded by donations. Contributing to this project is one way that we, as individuals, can help solve the global hunger crisis. Insects are the food of the future, and bug boxes are a key step in finally achieving zero hunger. Thank you. We will now take questions.
Okay, our final team, Team 6, Team Nidra, is Arpit Rana from Industrial Engineering, Parva Parekh, thank you, from Biomedical Engineering, and Nidhi Karkira, thank you, from Biomedical, right? Biomedical Engineering, great.
Hello, everyone. We have come up with a solution to sustainably develop a goal number 3, which is to ensure healthy lives and promote well-being for all ages. Now, total world population is 7 billion people, out of which 95% of people go under stress. So, according to World Health Organization, 70% of the population which are unhealthy has some kind of stress, which is 4.6 billion people. Now, that is a huge number. So, stress has become a worldwide epidemic, says World Health Organization, and we couldn't agree less. So, high stress can also make sleeping difficult. They can lead to sleeping disorders, and getting a good night's sleep can reduce effect of stress. So, as you can see in this slide, all the major medical disorders indirectly connect to insomnia, that is sleep deprivation. Now, looking at the statistics, 95% of the Americans suffer from insomnia, which comes around to 40 million of people. And this is an interesting case study we came across, that the number of people that have insomnia is concentrated more on the East Coast as compared to the West Coast. And looking at the global level here, we can see 16% of the global population suffer from insomnia, which constitutes Ghana, Tanzania, South Africa, India, Bangladesh. That means the underdeveloped countries. And especially in India, 1 out of 20 people suffer from insomnia. So this is an interesting article. Insomnia is linked to lifestyle, and they have used military people to justify this. As they say, severity of the post-traumatic stress disorders, fatigue, depression, all these leads to insomnia. So the number of military personnel suffering from insomnia is linearly increasing since 2007, as you can see in the graph. Now, these are the side effects of sleep, which you can see it almost includes all the major health diseases. So insomnia is a huge thing to tackle. Currently, to tackle insomnia, masses are consuming drugs such as sleeping pills, which is significantly high in number. because as you can see in the graph, these are the sleeping pills used, and the annual sales of the leading sleeping aid in United States in 2017 are in millions. So you can imagine the magnitude of the sleeping pills used all worldwide. So now to tackle this global problem, what if I tell you, instead of taking sleeping pills, all you need is just to change your pillow?
Right. So, Nidra. What is Nidra? So in Sanskrit, Nidra means sleep. And how are we getting this sleep? Through a pillow. By using electromagnetic induction. Now we are bringing down the electromagnetic induction to a personalized level. We are bringing it down to a level in which it would be generated through a pillow, right? So, right. Our study is basically supported by research done by Pelka, which states that magnetic field therapy has no adverse effect of treatment, has no adverse effect, and again, it can be used for insomnia as well, in order to treat insomnia, right? And Nidra. So this is our device model, okay? The pillow would generate the electromagnetic field, and that field, the patient would be in that field, which triggers the brain cell in order to get a good sound sleep, right? So now, there are sleeping devices which are available in the market, but the major thing, like the major component which we are donating is the contactless electrode sensing, which basically depends upon the input and then give the particular output. So what are the advantages? These are the advantages. It's user-friendly, it's increased level of productivity, and there is no drug intake, right? The key partners. Now, Arpit will be telling about the key partners.
So the key partners you are trying to collaborate with are people that work with alternative medicines. So here are some key partners we've identified at the local level, which is Stanford H. Levy and Buffalo Alternative Therapies. At the national level, we'll be collaborating with National Center for Complementary and Integrative Health to get grants for research, for further research. And this is our implementation budget, where we will be having, in the development phase will be for the Q1, Q2 phase. During the Q2 phase, we will be parallelly ramping up and doing marketing strategies for like SEO optimizations. And at the end of the Q2, we will start the production sales for 2 years, for a 2-year plan. And this is our financial budgets, which we have calculated. We will require at least $10,000 for development cost. About ramp up and marketing will be around $6,000 in addition. And that's, yeah. All right.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow, a lot of fantastic ideas. We're going to take a little breather, let our judges make some important decisions. But a big thank you to all the teams. Just to get here, many of you, all of you, to advance to this level, there were numerous other candidates who didn't even get to this point, so kudos to you all. Probably be about 15, 20 minutes, might even be a little bit less. So I think we still have some cookies unless you guys have eaten them all. And there are some left. So great. Thank you very much. Thank you all. I'm just going to open up with a couple quick things.
Yeah, I'm not here to give anyone any money. Only another opportunity to continue to do brainstorming, collaborations toward eventually giving a pitch. And so I'll pass out. I have a few postcards. If you can share them. So, in addition to being a faculty member in the School of Architecture and Planning, I'm also the co-director of the Community of Excellence in Global Health Equity, and we work on major global challenges that influence human health and well-being. And interestingly enough, we are guided very much by the SDGs in all of our work. Each year we host an event for students in all year levels, from first year undergraduates all the way through doctoral students, and across all majors and all disciplines, called the Global Innovation Challenge. So we're hosting our 3rd Global Innovation Challenge in May, so the week after graduation, and that's what the postcard has information about. This year we are focused on the grand challenge of promoting food equity. And so if you're interested in registering, again, there's a week-long workshop that we build teams, we collaborate, and then at the end of that week, every one of the teams delivers a pitch, and then we also do a similar award and then provide mentoring to those student groups toward implementing those ideas. So if you want to talk to me afterward, you can talk to me afterward, and now I'll give it over to Money.
Thank you, Dr. Smith. Great. So 2 seconds before we get to that, just a couple plugs for, again, we have about 30 different events occurring over the month of April, all centering really around the SDGs. And I'll just mention 3 specific ones happening the next week, the week after that, and the week after that. So next week, James Baylog, global spokesman on the subject of climate change. If any of you have seen Chasing Ice, a phenomenal documentary, that is about James Baylog's team. There will be stunning visuals over at Alumni Arena, and I believe students all have free tickets anyway. So please enjoy that. It will be a great lecture. The second one occurring on April 18th is Sustainable Solutions and Champions of Change, a gender perspective. That will be occurring over the course of the morning and very early afternoon. We are so happy to have Chancellor Johnson, who will be joining us here. I think this is the first time that she has spoken at UB since becoming the new chancellor. Her background is in renewable energy, and we're just really looking forward to the dialogue on that, as well as other faculty members who will be on that panel. And then finally, on April 23rd, the week after, Transforming Our Tomorrow, a new clean energy vision, which is an additional kind of student pitch event centered around clean energy and our Renewing the Energy Vision project here at UB to scale up solar. So thank you very much, and we'll see you next month. Just kidding, just kidding. These are always really tough to do. Again, kudos to all of you for making it to this round. We had twice as many people that applied for this as were able to pitch, so fantastic work. We'll start with the fan favorite, and the fan favorite I think was a little bit of a runaway, but Sunny Clean Water, $500. Come on right up here and we'll do a quick, here, move right, there you go, perfect, right in front of that, awesome. Thank you very much. Do you want, is that good? Yeah, perfect, okay, great, thank you. Okay, coming in third place with a $500 purse, fantastic presentation, an excellent topic, great work, the Flow Project. Thank you. Thank you very much. Congratulations. Coming in second place with a prize of $1,000, Sunny Clean Water. All right. That's Derek's handwriting on the checks, just in case anyone's wondering. He stands full faith and credit behind us. Thank you very much. And finally, our first place winner at $2,000, and perhaps more importantly, moving on to Canada and London in early June. Congratulations, Elevate Her. You have to do the grip and grin now. So congratulations to all of our winners and all of our participants. Thank you very much.